Hello everybody. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the body of Chapter 6, where we'll be working with the job cost system in Sage 50. A job cost system is used by businesses that need to track the income and expenses associated with specific projects or contracts. It's especially common in industries like construction, landscaping, manufacturing, consulting, and custom services. Basically, any business that performs unique jobs for clients rather than producing the same product over and over. This type of system helps managers see exactly how much each job costs in materials, labor, and overhead, and then compares that to the revenue earned. That information is crucial for evaluating profitability, estimating future projects, and keeping costs under control. In this chapter, we'll set up a new job for an existing customer, and then we'll record several transactions related to it. We'll purchase supplies, record a sales invoice, and create a paycheck where part of the employee's time is charged to that job. Finally, we'll run a job profitability report to see how Sage 50 brings all those costs and revenues together. And let's get started here in the software. So I'm on the landing page when you open up the software, and I need to get back into Bellwether Garden Supply. So I'm going to click on Open an Existing Company, and then I'm going to find the most recent Bellwether Garden Supply that I can find in the table here. I only see one on mine, but you could have more than one. And just look at the time and date stamp and make sure you're grabbing the most recent one. Click on it, then click OK. To make sure that we're in the correct, up-to-date, and accurate company file from Chapter 5, we can run a report. So go to Reports and Forms drop down, and from there select the General Ledger category, and I'm going to run the General Ledger Trial Balance Report. And if I scroll all the way down to the bottom, your totals should match mine at this point, $946,365.53. So if you're seeing those totals, chances are you're ready to start with Chapter 6. To set up a job cost system in Sage, we can go to the Maintain drop-down menu and then go to Default Information, and then we can find jobs there. We've got 3 different tabs here, and basically I'm not going to go through all the different tabs, but the defaults related to jobs set the overall structure for job costing, things like how jobs are numbered, whether phases and cost codes are used, and some general settings that apply to all jobs are kept track of here. If I go back to Maintain and then find job costs, I've got 3 choices there: jobs, phases, and cost codes. So jobs are where you set up each individual project or contract. This is the main record for each job that ties all the related costs, revenues, and reports together. We will be setting up a job here shortly, but for right now I just want to take a look at these other screens. Also under Maintain and then Job Costs, we have the choice of Phases. Phases lets you break a job into major parts or stages. For example, a landscaping project, phases might include things like site preparation, planting, hardscaping, and finishing work. Each phase captures a different stage of the project so you can see where time and money are being spent. Within each phase, the cost codes, which is another area under Maintain and then Job Costs, the cost codes go one level deeper than the phases. These cost codes identify specific cost categories such as materials, labor, equipment rental, or subcontractors. For example, under the planting phase, you might have separate cost codes for the plants themselves, the soil and the mulch, and the labor to install everything. By breaking jobs down this way, Bellwether Garden Supply can track not only the total profit on a landscaping job, but also which parts of the job were most efficient, or which areas ran over budget. So to get started with the content from the book, on page 193, they ask us to create a new job. And to do that, we go to the Customers and Sales area from the navigation bar, and then we have a button for jobs, and we're going to select New Job. On this screen, we're going to set up this job that we're doing for a particular customer, and I'm going to find that customer first. So it says for customer here, and I'm going to see a list of all of our different customers, and we're doing this job for a customer called Franklin Botanical Gardens, so I select them there. Now the job ID is the name of the job, and usually that would describe what we're doing for that particular customer. On page 194 at the bottom of that page, it gives us a little context about the job that we're doing for Franklin here. It says that Franklin has a new building overlooking a park. In the park there are several picnic tables. According to the terms of the contract, we are going to install a special wood treatment to the picnic benches so they last longer. Normally we'd probably name it something like that, like treatment to picnic benches, but the book, I'm just going to roll with what they're doing. They said to call it Franklin, the name of the customer. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense, especially if we're doing a lot of jobs for Franklin over time. So usually the job names are more descriptive about what the job is all about. For the start date of the job, we're going to specify March 4th. Now, because you are using the 2022 version of the software, do March 4, 2022 there. I'm going to use March 4, 2019 because my company file is using the fiscal year of 2019, but yours is going to be using 2022. So March 4th, 2022 is your start date. At this type, we don't have a projected end date, so we're going to leave that blank. And then for the job type, we have got different categories that are in the system already. We're going to select land. And for right now, we're going to leave the rest of these details blank. So I'm just going to save this job record. And now I'm going to close out the window. I guess I didn't save. Yes, I do want to. So next we're going to record the purchase of the special wood treatment. And to do that, we're going to go to the vendors and purchases area from the navigational menu, and then we're going to select enter bill and then new bill. So the date of this transaction is going to be March 20th, and we're purchasing the wood treatment from Adler's Landscaping. So for the vendor ID, we're going to find Adler in our list. We do have an invoice number from Adler. It is AD 501. And the wood treatment is not an item that we have set up in inventory, so we're not going to use that field. Instead, we're going to type special wood treatment in the description field. Once we selected Adler, the general ledger account number of 57,200 should have automatically appeared. If it didn't, you can click on the magnifying lens and find it. It should be materials cost. We're purchasing a quantity of one of these bottles of treatment, and the unit price is $85. So we'll enter those pieces of information in those appropriate fields. Since this wood treatment is specifically for this job, in the jobs field, we're going to find the Franklin job. So we click on that, and then we can click Save to post this transaction, which clears the screen, and now I can close out of that window. Next, we're going to send a bill to Franklin for a drip irrigation system related to this job. And to do that, we're going to go to our customers and sales area of the navigation bar. And since we're doing an invoice, we're sending our customer a bill. We're going to select sales invoice and then new sales invoice. The date of this transaction is March 21st, and the customer ID is Franklin, so we find them in the drop-down list. We are billing them for an item that we do carry in inventory, so we can find the item number here. So if I click on that and start typing it in, it's EQWT-15100. And I should be able to find it there, drip irrigation system. We're selling a quantity of one, so enter that. The unit price auto-filled, and when I entered the quantity, the amount was auto-calculated. And the total, including tax, should show at $139.09. Now, since this is for a specific job in the job field, I want to find that job. So there's Franklin, select them. And normally we'd enter an invoice number here as well, but the text doesn't provide one, so we'll leave that blank. And to post the transaction, I'll click the Save button, which clears the screen, and now I'll close out of the window. Next, we're going to cut a paycheck for one of our employees who did some work on this Franklin job. So to do that, we're going to go to the Employees and Payroll area of the navigation menu. We're going to select Pay Employees and then enter Payroll for one employee. This transaction is described on page 198, and it looks like the employee is Alex Cornell, so I find them in the list here. Alex Cornell, there they are. And the date of the paycheck is March 29th, as is the date that the pay period ends. You can see that Alex's hours for that pay period have auto-filled, but we need to specify that some of his time was spent on this one particular job. So we're going to click on the jobs button up top here, and then from this drop down under job, we're going to find the job, the Franklin job, and then we are going to specify that he worked 1 hour on that job. By default, the hourly field showed as regular, but if this was overtime or something like that, we might have to change that. But we're going to leave that as is, and the hourly rate that this Cornell is being paid is $14 an hour there. So then I can click OK on this labor distribution to jobs window, and then to post this paycheck, make sure that yours matches up with mine. The net pay is $896.10. Normally we'd enter a check number in here, but the book doesn't provide one, so I'm going to ignore that and just save to post this transaction. The screen clears and I'll close out the window. Next, we're going to run a report related to this job. So from the reports and forms drop down, we're going to select the jobs category, and then we're going to run the job profitability report. So I double click on that. In here we can see that the date range is showing March 1st through March 31st, so it's showing all the jobs that the company worked on during that period. We've got the name of the job here, the revenues, the expenses, and the profit as a percentage of the revenues. If we scroll down, the jobs are alphabetically arranged. We look for the Franklin job, and at this point we should see the same information that you see on my screen. We've got a total of $129.99 of revenue, $158.95 of expense, and profit currently is showing as a negative figure, negative $28.96. This report's interactive, so if I want to get back to the transaction entry screens that we use to record these different events, I can just double click on the amount. There's the invoice and the revenue portion. The $14, remember, is for that employee's paycheck, so if I double click on that, there's that paycheck. The $85 was from that bill for the purchase of the wood treatment. And then the $59.95, I think that's the cost of goods sold related to the sale of that irrigation system. Sure enough, it pulled up that sales invoice again. That actually brings us to the end of the body of chapter 6. So now it's your turn to get into exercise 6.1. It looks like you have 3 transactions to record. You have a sales invoice to record. You've got a bill received for the purchase of some additional wood treatment. And then it looks like one of your employees spent some time on the Franklin job, so you need to cut them a check and indicate that they worked on that job. After you're all done with that, you're going to run this job profitability report again. It's going to reflect on the information that was done in the body of the chapter, as well as the information in the exercises. There are check figures at the bottom of page 202, so make sure your report matches up with those before you submit it, and then I'm going to have you submit just the PDF version of the job profitability report. If you have any questions, let me know.